Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today's April 25th, and today we're going to take a look at this trough that's going to be impacting the region here for the next few days. Thunderstorm potential across the region as well. We'll take a look at our extended forecast and check out how long this trough is going to hang out and see if we're going to get any nice days into our future here. We're also going to take a look at some brand new La Nina information just released today on April 25th. So stay tuned for that near the end of the video here. We'll take a brief look around the rest of the country. I may do my second storm chase of the year across maybe Oklahoma or Kansas on in through next week, mainly Friday. We'll take a look at that briefly too, and we'll take a look at quickly the rest of the country as well. Some severe weather going on across the Midwest, but mainly we're going to concentrate on the Pacific Northwest as always. Looking a little bit closer at the visible satellite imagery here, you can see the main cloud band is moving on. We're going to get some showers through today. Not expecting anything in the way of thunderstorms today for Western Washington, Oregon, but up for British Columbia, Vancouver Island, and BC, mainly the higher terrain, they could get a thunderstorm or two with some cooler air up there. And also for Eastern Washington and Oregon during the afternoon today. But that's going to change for tomorrow as we're going to introduce a thunderstorm risk for much of the area as some colder air aloft moves over and really impacts portions of Western Washington and the North Willamette Valley. Now, checking out the rest of the country briefly, there's some pretty cold air that's moved down across central portions of the state, some frost and freeze warnings, but you can see it's generally quiet overall. There's some flood warnings across North Dakota and Minnesota there as well. And checking out Pendleton, Oregon, they're just mentioning that, some nice needed rainfall is going to fall over there, and showery spring-like weather will return Monday and Tuesday. So looking at SeaTac, yesterday we got to 67 degrees here in Seattle, and the average high is 61. So a very nice day yesterday. You can see that's above average. The green line is the average that we get. You can see it rises up into the low 60s by the end of April. And much of this month we've been well below average, and that's going to continue here for the next few days as well. The red marks the record highs. We haven't been anywhere near those for a while here, and the blue is the record lows. You can see we flirted with some of that during April 12th and 13th, it looks like there. So as we look on into today, you'll see that thunderstorm risk for Pendleton, Spokane, and towards Missoula, Montana, but not including Western Washington, Oregon yet. And if this extended into Canada, it would probably include portions of Vancouver Island and the higher terrain of BC. So if you guys are traveling eastbound, there is going to be some severe weather going on across anywhere from the Canadian border to Mexico, but it is not supposed to be very well organized. You can see there's really no tornado risk, just a wind and hail threat, mainly just a wind for most of this line going across. So if you're traveling, heads up for that. But if we go on into day two, you can see that we reintroduce this thunderstorm threat for Western Washington, some of the Willamette Valley northward, and this severe weather pushes off towards the East Coast. Day 5, actually, this is for Oklahoma, Kansas. This is when I may be out chasing next again. And as always, I'll do some briefings when I'm out there, and we'll talk about the Pacific Northwest weather and whatever is coming our way. But I may do some live streams out here as well, so I can share some of the storm chasing activity with those of you who like that type of thing. Checking out today, this is convective available potential energy. You can see this cooler air aloft and this vorticity max swinging through Vancouver Island during the day today. And through tonight, really, and there's a chance for thunderstorms up here in BC and Eastern Washington, Eastern Oregon, a little bit of instability there. As we go through Tuesday, you can see this instability really move through Northern Willamette Valley and through Western Washington as well, and continue to impact Vancouver Island and Southern BC. Looking on in through the European, let's check to see the timing of this. So you can see as we go through Tuesday, we get reintroduced to this cold air, and there's going to be quite a bit of precipitation around. Showers are going to be ongoing, potential for a thunderstorm. Mountain snows are going to be building up. Again, we're getting a decent snowpack. A lot of places are above average right now, and that's going to be really helpful as we move into the summer months for a water supply. And you can see this continues on for Idaho, Western Montana, and British Columbia as well. And as you go into Wednesday, the shower activity does wane some, and Thursday we might increase it a bit there. So we could reintroduce a thunderstorm chance on Thursday. We'll have to see how this plays out, though. We have plenty of time to look at Thursday coming up here. And now let's go ahead and look at what the European is painting for lightning density potential here. You can see how the higher terrain at BC as we go into the afternoon, eastern portions, Vancouver Island, maybe down the strait a little bit, and then eastern Washington, Oregon has a slight chance at a thunderstorm today. But going on into tomorrow, you can see that changes a bit as we get a pretty good signal through portions of western Washington down towards Portland for a thunderstorm as well. So we're going to have eyes on the sky tomorrow. Small hail is possible, maybe some gusty winds, and maybe a lightning strike or two around the region. So get your cameras ready. Here we're looking at North America. This is 2-meter temperature anomaly. This is basically surface temperature. You can see the colder air that's moved across the central portions. And that you can see really tomorrow we cool off quite a bit across the Pacific Northwest, pretty well below average, about -10 on average below normal across much of the region. You can see that hang on through Wednesday, Thursday night. And this is far out as the European goes on the 6Z run. Let's check out the 0Z and see how long this below average temperatures plague the Pacific Northwest. And you can see really going on into this weekend and on into next week, it just kind of continues as this troughing just hangs out over the region. I mean, some of these temperatures here are probably well over 20 degrees below normal for eastern portions of Washington, Oregon, the Cascades, even into western Washington, Oregon, you're probably, 12 degrees below normal here. So pretty chilly classic La Niña pattern here for the Pacific Northwest. Just La Niña is just hallmarked by really chilly springs across Pacific Northwest, and this is no exception. And we're going to talk about La Niña again coming up here in a second, so stay with me. Here's the general ridge and trough positions, 18,000 feet. You'll see this trough is the one that's impacting us now, and it just kind of hangs out and meanders and reinforces itself, and looks like it sends another reinforcing shot on Thursday afternoon as well. We'll have to watch that for thunderstorm potential. Now we'll go back to the 0Z run so we can run it out a little bit longer. Get a ridge built maybe next weekend here for maybe a nice day before another trough moves through, then another weak transient ridge before an even deeper trough moves through again in early May. And you can see these troughs just relentless on the European, but there is a chance for some nice days between these systems, especially at this time of year. Let's check out the GFS and see what it says. It looked like it was a bit warmer from what I saw this morning. But here we go. Good agreement as per usual. And maybe that reinforcement on the day Thursday. Weak ridge, another trough. And let's update this 12Z GFS run here to see if we can get more data here. Or do we have to go back to the 6Z run? Ridging builds, then another deep trough looks like it's on the way here. Let's see what the 06Z run said here with that. It's weaker with the trough, so this increased on the last run, but it does drop another trough across the region. Then it builds some nice ridging across the region. So warmer weather lovers are hoping that GFS and the extended is correct, but this trough is never far away in a La Niña spring, and you can see it moves kind of south of us there. So that would be an interesting feature there, but it probably would keep us colder than normal. But we're getting too far out there again for the GFS. This is European, yesterday's run. You can see we're supposed to be up towards 60 degrees now, and we're going to be below average for the next, 8 days here, according to the European model, before we maybe warm up again in the extended, but that's not reliable at that range. But you can see the story of this week is going to be below average temperatures and some pretty chilly overnight lows even too, especially if we clear out some of those nights. GFS kind of shows us generally below average, but not that far below average, not as cool as the European model. But again, if we clear off on some of these nights, we might cool down into the 30s even for Seattle area. And that would go maybe even a little bit lower for some of the outlying areas if we clear out. But then the GFS, when those ridges show up at this time of year, we can get pretty nice and pretty warm. So there is some hope going into early May. But again, too far out to have a reliable forecast. Now, this came out today, April 25th. This is La Niña chances. Look on into next October, November, December. This blue line marks the La Niña chances. This black line means the 50% marker here. So you have La Niña. We are now looking at odds-on favorite for another La Niña going into next fall and winter. If you can believe it, it would be our third in a row. And it's kind of unprecedented. We had one about 20 years ago where we did technically 3 winters in La Niña conditions. And then we did one in the 70s where it lasted almost 3 years. So it seems like it's a 20-year cycle. I think we did another one similar in the 50s. But this has changed a bit. The odds have gone up for La Niña going on into our third winter in a row. And you can see here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Here's the average. This red line was closer to being more of a neutral year, but now it's down towards borderline La Niña neutral conditions, but on the La Niña side. So, yeah, the odds are swinging back towards what may be another La Niña winter coming up here, folks. So, a very interesting time here. And so, yeah, you're probably going to see some sunbreaks today. Today might not be too terribly bad for portions of western Washington, Oregon, eastern Washington as the clouds move through. And, we're kind of some sun breaks and some clouds, passing clouds and some showers, but generally no thunderstorm threat for western Washington, Oregon. But BC, there is a thunderstorm threat today, and there will be one tomorrow for much of the region west of the Cascades. And then it looks like we have another little system moving through Thursday that could reintroduce some thunderstorm threat. So, but the story of the week, like I said before, is going to be below average temperatures, and we're going to keep monitoring that and see when this will end. Are we going to finally introduce some nice weather into early May? We'll check that day by day, and we'll keep an eye on it as we go through the weeks and on in through the spring and summer, and keep our eye on what kind of La Nina patterns look like they're coming on into next fall. But yeah, right now, odds-on favorite for another La Nina. So click like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. We'll do this again.